This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English, episode number 345, baby. Oh yeah. In today's episode we speak to Boom Boom Cannon. Yes, he is back, and I must say I believe this is a very good episode. I am my biggest critic, so if I say it's a good episode, I mean it. So you have that to look forward to. And we talk about how and why modern life is rubbish, because Boom Boom and I both recently turned 40, so we are now officially old. So we thought we would just moan about modern life, things like ads on YouTube, which you cannot avoid. So I think I'm going to stop talking. So here is the episode. I will talk to you at the end. Happy listening. Boom Boom Cannon, how are you today?
I'm very well, Martin. How are you?
Always fantastic, Boom Boom. Always fantastic. Since we last spoke, we've both turned 40, haven't we?
Yeah.
Does
it feel different?
I actually think yes. I think for the first time in my life, I feel like an official grown-up.
Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, I think fatherhood did that for me.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think it's a combination of things for me. Fatherhood, 40, and the fact that possibly soon I'm going to be buying a house and having a mortgage.
All very adult things.
It's not a lot of fun there, really, is there?
Classic adult behaviour, I'd say.
Yeah, so I think I know what it feels like to be a grown-up. Not that I think I'm a very good one, not a very good example to follow, but definitely. I also, when I was on holiday recently, I was in like the kids' swimming pool with my kids. I just want to say, not, and I got told off for going down one of the kids' slides. So that also made me feel like an adult, of like, you're not allowed on.
What kind of slide are we talking? Like
Just
very small or
pretty small. But I want to also add here, I wasn't just going down there on my own for fun. Okay. There were two slides next to each other. My daughter was too scared to go down one, so I sat on the other one. And then the man said, "No,
not allowed."
It was a bit ridiculous. He said, "You're allowed on if the child's sitting on you, but not by yourself,
not just demonstrating."
Yeah, I was tempted to tell him to fuck off, but wasn't the vibe in the kids' swimming pool. So just said, "Yep, sure, no problem." So there we go. That is a grown-up for you. So how do we usually start the show, Boom Boom?
It's got to be with a review.
Do you think we have a review?
Surely.
I kind of think maybe. So, well, I have got one to read, but whether I've read this before is another question, because I went on, it was from 2 years ago, but I have got a good memory and I don't remember reading this. So therefore, in my opinion, it's a new one. So it is 5 stars, iTunes, the best ones, and it's from Sarah DN, and it says, enjoyable and informative, the title, and it just says, learn English and enjoy your time. Okay, that's it.
Good.
That is all you need, people. All you need to do to leave a review. Okay, to make me happy.
But of course, that's 2 years ago, so the podcast has maybe gone downhill since then.
Yeah. So Sarah DN, are you still enjoying your time?
Please let us know.
Let us know. Yeah. So on to today's pod, and a combination of things made me think of this topic of, again, the fact that we're old. And also I was talking to someone recently, one member of the Rock and Roll English family, actually, about how annoying it is that you have to book places now, because it kind of like kills the whole spontaneous vibe. And then I kind of thought, you know what? Modern life is just a bit shit, isn't it? So I've got a few things.
Sounds like a good thing for two 40-year-olds to moan about.
And talk about how great things were in the past. So I've got a few things on the list, okay, that we can have a chat about. See if you think it's annoying, and what you think. Okay, so the first one, again, something that I've noticed recently. certainly in the UK, you go to a pub, you go to pay, generally pay on your phone, and the first thing before you do, it says, do you want to add, I don't even know the correct pronunciation, gratuity, is that right?
Gratuity, I think, is how that's said. Yeah.
It's a very posh way of saying, do you want to leave a tip?
Yeah.
And then you feel really bad pressing no. What are your thoughts? Do you ever press yes?
If you've gone to the bar,
yeah,
for instance, to get a drink, no, I'm pressing no all day long.
Exactly. Like, why would I give you a tip? I've gone to the bar. You've just poured the drink, and you're asking me, not directly but indirectly with your stupid machine, do you want to give me some extra money? Again, I just want to say fuck off. But
and then there's that slightly awkward moment where if you click no, there's still the sort of the transactions, maybe the drink's still being poured, the transaction's still finishing, and there's that sort of like elephant in the room, which is that you just refuse to give this person a tip. I'm not a fan of that.
No, exactly. At least if you want to do it, at least do it after payment. Like you've made the payment. Like, was that a wonderful experience? Do you want to add some extra money? But before it's even started,
I don't know yet. I can't make a judgment on your performance yet. It's
exactly. You imagine. I'm just thinking out loud here, but you meet a girl and it's kind of like, do you want to, be in a relationship? It's like, look, we don't know each other yet. Let's get to know each other.
Let's just sleep with each other and then decide.
As I was talking there, I was thinking, how is this going to end? Am I going to say, do you want to pay for sex? Here's my card machine. Okay, so that's the first one.
Yeah, no, I also think with those card machines and tips, they can be a bit tricky, particularly in different countries. Also in like the order of like, are you putting in the total, like including a tip, or is it a separate amount you add for the tip? What's sort of the order? Like, do you accidentally put your PIN number in and that was actually a tip and you've just given them like $5,500? So you really have to be careful.
53821 is your PIN number, and that's how much.
Felt like a good tip.
Yeah, well, yeah, and if it's in another language, I assume that means
minefield.
Tip. Just click no. Just click no.
No to everything.
No, I think it's international as well. I can't think of a language where
red. I think the red button's quite international.
Red or no is what you're looking for in those situations. Okay, so the next one, again, I got this from my new best friend, which is ChatGPT, and it says the curse of notifications, your phone buzzing constantly with updates you don't care about. What are your thoughts on this? Do you restrict the notifications? Do you get a lot of notifications?
I don't really restrict that much. No, I think I often feel like I should, because they are distracting. Like I'm sitting here working and then it's just some random notification. It is distracting.
But do you get like Facebook notifications on your phone?
Facebook, I don't think I do, but like I'd say
Instagram,
just various apps. Yeah, Instagram. Yeah,
right. Okay.
But that only really, I think, notifies me if I've been like tagged in a. Oh no, that does actually give some random ones, like some random person's doing a live thing or something.
Right.
Yeah, no, there's all sorts.
I was going to say you're not really that into social media, so I doubt you're getting
on social media.
Lots of.
No.
Well, as we kind of always see every year on your birthday, from the amount of birthday messages you receive, which I like to point out to you, I don't.
Which you didn't this year, thankfully.
That was my present to you, wasn't it? That I didn't tell you how unpopular you are.
Yeah, because I imagine my rival, my birthday rival, probably for his 40th. Would have just been inundated with messages.
So I think we have discussed this on a family podcast, but to give people context, there's someone else we went to school with that shares a birthday with Boom Boom, and every year I like to show Boom Boom how the other person gets more birthday messages than him. This year I didn't, but if you are interested, Boom Boom, I did double check, and you did lose, unfortunately.
Okay, good. So you actually, that gift that you said you were going to give me, you now have essentially taken back.
Correct.
What's also annoying is that when you then, in the past, you've done the Rock and Roll English like birthday post for me, and obviously, really great that then there's often lots of responses to that, saying for people saying happy birthday, but you have decided that they don't count towards my total number.
Do not count. Only ones on the Facebook wall. Those are the rules of this competition. Competition that I invented, which you've never really been a fan of, have you?
No, I haven't actually. No, funny that. I can't believe you went back and checked. Really would have thought you'd had better things to do with your time.
You would think that, really, wouldn't you? Because essentially I've got 2 jobs, 2 kids. But no, I haven't got anything better to do with that.
That's still the best thing to do.
Still the best. But yeah, on the topic of notifications, I luckily have got all social media ones turned off, but I do got lots of random apps which I get lots of strange notifications which are quite annoying, which is why, in fact, I'm actually playing with it now. I don't know why. I think this is on my list as well, about like smart gadgets, like smart watches. Like, are they really necessary? So I have got an iWatch. I don't know what it's called. Is that what it's called?
I think so. I don't know. I don't have one, but like the Apple
Watch thing, which I used years ago, then stopped using it. Then I was in need of a watch, basically because I went out with some friends from university, got really drunk, and then somehow came home without a watch. So I was in need of a watch. So I resurrected my my Apple Watch thing, but the notifications, I can't deal with it. And then I switched it off, and then it's like, well, this is just an ordinary watch now. So
that essentially gives you the same kind of notifications you'd get on a phone.
Yeah, and then your wrist is like vibrating and it will say like BBC News, like interest rates have been cut by 0.25%.
Yeah, you don't need your wrist buzzing to be told that.
Not about interest rates, no. So yeah, the notifications and on the smart gadget. So it says here, which I thought was quite entertaining. Do we really need a Wi-Fi enabled toaster? Now, I didn't even know they existed. Are you nodding there? Have you got a Wi-Fi toaster?
No, I don't have that. But I did recently. I have an app now for my electricity provider here, so you can keep a track of the electricity price. Also a very 40-year-old thing to do, so I can decide when to turn the dishwasher on, basically. And then it said like connect your smart gadgets to the app so that you can. And I remember thinking I have nothing to connect to it.
Right.
So yeah. But you could, I guess, if you had a smart, what did you say, toaster or kettle or something, you could somehow connect that to the app.
Yeah, see, I'm not very smart, I suppose, on those things. I don't really have many of those gadgets either. But yeah, again, I just think, is that really necessary? I mean, what difference are you getting between? I mean, if anyone has got a Wi-Fi toaster, let us know.
Could be great. Yeah,
let us know.
No, the most I have a watch. I guess it counts as a smart watch. I don't know. It's not an iWatch, but it tells me like. If I'm working out, what I've done, calories and heart rate and all that sort of thing.
Okay.
So that's pretty smart.
That is sometimes good, but then that was kind of taken over my life at one point. I remember when I was living in Italy and I just got in from work, took all my clothes off, but I didn't do that.
Everything but socks.
Yeah. I think I got changed into some more comfortable clothes and took my watch off, and then I had to go and buy some bread to just basically walk downstairs. And I remember thinking, well, I better put my watch on to go downstairs.
I've returned home before when we've left the flat to say, I mean, we haven't gone that far, but maybe we've left. If we're going for a walk, I've got to go back and put my watch on.
I've got to see how many steps I do.
There's no way I'm doing this walk if it doesn't count towards my step total.
So I now like to live free without any of these pressures of how many steps I'm doing, and just go free. But you actually did touch upon another one, which I think is on the list here somewhere, about apps. You need an app for everything now. It's like one that comes to mind is when you go to a football match and it's like download the app and you get your tickets there, and you're like, oh my God, like what happened to just a paper ticket?
Yeah, app for everything. Some restaurants now you can order via the app when you get in there, right?
That again is kind of one I've got here. Well, if it's not an app, it's a QR code. What are your thoughts on that? You go to a restaurant and it's like they say, oh, you can scan this and look at the menu on your phone, like, and then you can order there. What are your thoughts?
No, not really a fan of that. For me, that's just not the sort of the feeling of a restaurant. I want a classic menu, the waiter.
100% the same.
Yeah.
Again, is this an age thing? I don't know, but I know as well, often like the Wi-Fi doesn't work very well in the restaurant. Like just go there and just pay.
And downloading an app as well when you like, and then I'll register, give us all your detail. Yeah, no,
absolutely. Just go up with the menu and then buy whatever you want. And that, I suppose, is another one. So you're in a supermarket. You've only got a few items. What are you doing? There's no queue for the real person, or there's the what are they called? The self-checkout. What are you going for?
These days, because I think I know where you're going with this, but I'm actually quite self-checkout.
Self-checkout guy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Is because
you don't like talking to people.
Yeah, I live obviously here, and as much as I've progressed with the language, there can still be some mix-ups. Actually, I've got a mix-up to tell you about. So I prefer the self-checkout because then it's just me and a screen, and I'm not going to embarrass myself. And if I am, it's to a screen. For instance, we were in the supermarket a couple of days ago, and I had tried to had like a gift card basically that you could use in the supermarket. So I tried to pay with that, and then there was a rule that you needed to, we'd gone like over the amount of the gift card, so you couldn't use it, blah, blah, blah. So I just said to then the guy, I was in there with Mrs. Boom Boom and Baby Boom Boom. They were at the other end of the checkout packing. And
Baby Boom Boom was busy packing, was she?
got her working hard. And I said, I said to the guy at checkout in Swedish, "Oh, don't worry, I'll come back next time. We need to buy plenty of nappies," is what I meant to say. But basically, the word for nappies is very close to the same word in Swedish to the word for essentially sanitary towels. So I'd essentially shouted out in front of everyone in the supermarket. So I was sort of calling to the packing end of the checkout. No, we're coming back for them, right? And yeah, that's just
shouting. We're coming back for some sanitary towels as well.
Yeah, because it was like 30 quid's worth on the gift card. So it was sort of suggesting I was just going to come back and spend 30 quid on sanitary towels, which Mrs. Boom Boom was not too pleased.
Yeah, I can imagine. That situation embarrassing for you, but for Mrs. Boom Boom, I would imagine was.
Yeah, it's primarily for her,
and she was just there packing, minding her own business, and next thing you know,
trying to look after a baby.
Was the gift card a birthday present?
No, it's just via work actually.
Oh right,
it was a
I was going
to say work
because
thing.
I thought, when do you ever have gift cards? It's a very birthday thing, isn't it?
It's the classic Christmas gift. At work.
Because I was thinking, what a dream to spend a birthday present on if you were buying some nappies.
Yeah, I mean, even for a Christmas work gift, nappies is not the most exciting, but practical because
exactly
you have to buy a lot of nappies these days.
Again, at our age, someone buys you some nappies, you're thinking, brilliant.
Thanks a lot.
So, okay, on to something else on my list. I have here unskippable ads. So you're on YouTube and then you're being forced to watch these ads. I mean, do you ever stick with the ad? Is there ever a time where you think this is interesting?
Very rarely. Very rarely. Skip as soon as that skip button's coming up.
Well, because there are some, aren't they, that are only 5 seconds. I don't know how it works, but some are like longer, aren't they? And And then
some you pretty much have to watch, right? And some
Yeah.
you can sort of skip. Yeah.
and then when it's got the countdown of until you can skip, you're just looking at that. Do it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Skip ad.
Yeah.
Well,
That's very annoying.
so if you think when obviously people used to watch normal TV, so like when we were teenagers, let's say, and a TV show would have ads, you just had to stick it out, really.
Yeah.
But now, even like those 5 seconds of ads, you're kind of like, oh my God, like this is an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, we've kind of through sort of streaming services sort of moved away from the idea of having to watch ads on TV like we did when we were young.
Well, even with streaming services now, they have, don't they?
That's true.
You can pay significantly less, I think. I think like 50% less, like if you do it with ads. But I think most people just can't face that and are happy to pay.
Yeah.
Essentially, I think 100% more. I think like Netflix is about £5 with ads and about £10 without, I think. So it's literally 100% more just to not sit through like 30 seconds of an advert.
It's no, adverts are very, very annoying. On podcasts as well, what do you do with pods?
Well, I have actually had a few offers, Boom Boom, to have some adverts and turned them down, Boom Boom. Because,
have you?
Well, I say that. I mean, if someone was offering me, like £1 million, I think I would take it. But
if any advertisers are listening,
£1 million an episode, we can start. That's where negotiations start for me. Okay. But yeah, you think like if it's not a lot of money, I don't want to dilute the podcast with some shite.
Were they offers to sort of pause and then an advert plays, or for you to advertise something? Because that's
yes, and
in a podcast.
I have to do it, and then you have to do like what you can have like pre-podcast, mid-podcast, and the end. And the mid is where you can get the most money because people are like already invested in the podcast, so they're unlikely to go forward. And to be honest, I do this. I'm watching like a YouTube video and then the person starts advertising something, and it is actually really annoying if you try to skip it because then you get lost and you're like, what second was I on? Oh my God, it's a fucking nightmare.
So if you just suddenly randomly start saying something like, oh, I really love this new
come and buy your sanitary towels in
exactly.
only £30.
These are the best sanitary towels I've ever used. Then we know that someone's paying you
a million an episode.
£1 million.
Because as mentioned, that's where negotiations start.
That's the going rate.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so this episode is going to continue in the Rock and Roll English family membership area, where, remember, there are more than 1,000 extra episodes, and there is the best online English learning community in the world, in my opinion, obviously, where we have weekly online lessons and lots of other wonderful stuff. Go and check it out if you want. If not, stay around for the vocabulary used from this episode. So, in the conversation, Boom Boom and I were talking about when you go to pay for drinks at the bar, for example, and it says, do you want to add gratuity, which is one of the words on the list, actually, one of the R&R pieces of vocab. Gratuity meaning basically a tip, just a really posh way to say it. So they probably try to confuse you to make you pay. So if you are in England and they ask you to add gratuity, say no. And so Boom Boom said, yeah, it creates a kind of awkward, embarrassing situation, which is the elephant in the room. So the elephant in the room is an expression which means an obvious problem or difficult situation which everyone knows about. People just don't want to discuss it. It's the elephant in the room. Another term I used, very simple, but something to use. I said I was thinking out loud when I made an example. So when you think out loud, it's when you speak as something enters your mind without thinking about what you're saying, which isn't always, obviously, a good idea. Boom Boom said as well that maybe the podcast has gone downhill. So if something goes downhill, it becomes worse over time. Then I mentioned how when you can do an advert in the middle of a podcast, you can get paid more money because people are invested in the podcast. So I'm sure you know the term invest, but when you are invested in something, it's when you are committed to it, like you are invested in the podcast. But I said I turned down these offers of sponsorship. So when you turn something down, you reject it because I didn't want to dilute the podcast. So if you dilute it, it makes it weaker or less pure, less magical, which obviously rock and roll English is. And we were talking about adverts, and we said when we were teenagers and we were watching something on TV, we just had to stick it out. We had to stick out the advert. So we had to endure this difficult, unpleasant situation of adverts. Then we also spoke about Boom Boom's birthday rival, who has the birthday the same day as Boom Boom, and every year we play this game, who's going to get more birthday messages? And we said Boom Boom's rival is inundated with messages. So if you are inundated with something, it means you have so many of them you don't know what to do with them. So he gets so many messages he doesn't know what to do with them. That term is actually from my No Study vocabulary course as well, which is a course that will help you learn advanced English vocabulary and slang through stories that are hopefully entertaining, and then the vocabulary is constantly renewed and you can remember without having to study. If you want to check out my free 2-week vocabulary challenge for lazy people, designed for lazy and busy people that have no time or no desire to study. I will put the link right in this podcast so you can check it out right now. So that's it for today. I will talk to you very soon, but in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.